Right, guys. So, welcome back now to the fourth episode of the podcast. We are currently filming at 5:30, so about half an hour after the town game is finished, and we thought it's probably best to do a raw reaction to what has actually just gone down. So pretty much, uh, the past week we've had a statement from Phil, pretty much speaking about January window, what's happening with the club's finances, and a few other bits and pieces about what's happening with results. And then obviously we've had the Wickham game, which we'll get into. So yeah, Phil put out a statement which was received very mixed reviews for, from everything saying that COVID's covered him, to saying, well, we've asked for him to be open about stuff, and he has been. So, Jack, what do you think about the statement from Phil?
Yeah, I thought it was received very, very harshly. I think some people needed to have a look at themselves after what they were saying. You can go back and look for them asking for exactly what they got. And as for what he actually said, I'm not going to pretend I know how to run a business or a football club. So I'm not going to say like I understand everything, but it made a fair bit of sense to me. Obviously, I look at it through tinted glasses after what's happened today, but yeah, it was good of him to come out and say some stuff. I think there is still some things that are left unanswered. But yeah, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, there's a lot of hindsight, which is why I'm kind of smiling when I'm saying this. But it was received in quite in a mixed way, and like you said, I think people kind of know or think they know how a football club is run when really they do not whatsoever. And I think Huddersfield Town fans right now are the most divided set of fans up and down the country. That might be might be a um, kind of a like a harsh statement, but I think after what's happened this evening and the turbulent but obviously quite quiet week we've had, I don't think it's helped. Um, and touching on the quiet week, obviously there's prospects of getting a free agent striker in, like he mentioned in his statement, and I think he, I think Phil, he's had his critics, but he wasn't obliged to release that statement whatsoever. So for him to come out and say we are, I think it was £60 million down, and COVID's obviously struck us, and it struck every single club. But even before that, we had payments to make. I think that was quite a bold move, and I think credit should be given, but obviously this is not where the club wants to or should be. So I think it is a process, and right now it feels like it's a downward spiral. But I was quite vocal on Twitter, and I'll back myself when I say this. I think we'll be back in a much stronger place once fans are back in the stadium. And I think on the topic of fans, I think today if fans were in the stadium, would have been a completely different result. We'll move on to the first half of today, and it was a good half. Obviously, we've been plagued by injuries. O'Brien at left back, I thought it was brilliant. So I think this is one of the very few positives today. And I'll go to you, Ben. How do you feel O'Brien kind of performed at left back today?
I think it had me at points thinking this should be our left back for the rest of the season, because he was brilliant. He was up and down the left hand side. He caused the right back so many problems, and he looked like a natural left back. Which, to say that he's played most of his time at centre mid, I think he had periods out wide at Bradford, but mainly centre mid again. He proves that he's a massive asset for Huddersfield Town. Especially coming through the academy, just shows a positive that the academy has created such a good young talent that I think will go very far. Whether that's with Huddersfield or not, we're yet to see. But I think he will go very far. He proved that today he is a model professional, that he can play in a number of different roles. It's difficult. It's difficult to be positive after the result, but obviously I think O'Brien did have a very good game. Well, he had a very good first half. Because second half, I don't think anybody can really say that they had a positive performance.
No.
It's difficult because that first half we had so many chances to just create more than we did, and I think if we didn't concede that goal right at the end of the first half, I think we win that game, to be honest, because we're a side that concedes one and we go into absolute meltdown, and I don't even know at this point where the blame lies with the squad, because it's not one person. Like every week, it's like so many different factors. Like I've seen somebody blame Phil tonight for not backing the team. I've seen someone blame Carlos. I've seen someone blame Pritchard. Someone blame like the announcer. Everybody's been like, I don't even know the words for it, because
Scapegoat.
everyone's just being scapegoated. Yeah. It's difficult to kind of word it. Like, Jack, I've kind of rambled there, but am I speaking along the right lines there?
Yeah, no, definitely. And not just football fans, but people in general want to find the easy blame. If something's simple, they'll go for that. So instead of doing your research and looking into it and thinking, what is this wrong? It's so much easier to say Phil's done something wrong or Carlos has done something wrong. And I'm seeing grown men like tweet angry things at these people. I'm thinking, I'm half your age and I'm more mature than you'll ever be. Yeah. Thinking logically about, and I'm sorry if that's gonna annoy people, but it's just the truth. It's just people want to find the easy blame, and it's so frustrating. I'm as upset and mad and angry as anyone tonight about that game, but just think about it logically. Don't spit your dummy out, and
it's a process, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got. If you want to blame, you can't just blame one individual.
No.
I mean, I respect people who dislike Carlos, and I respect people who dislike Phil and Bromby and everyone, because people are entitled to their opinions, but back it up. Like, I don't know. I'm going to stop now before I get mad. But we should probably touch back on the game. So the first goal,
that's probably a good idea.
Scored by my hero, Juninho Bacuna. It was a nice goal. Jay, you can talk about it for a bit. I should stop.
Yeah, and I think that last 2 minutes is basically summed up probably the feelings of Huddersfield Town fans across the world this evening. But yeah, onto the first goal. It was the kind of football you'd see Huddersfield Town play in the early season. It was brilliant football, and I think that passage of play probably will go unnoticed because of the result. But it was brilliant. It was probably 20-25 passes. Great long ball from Vallejo. And who knew Fraser Campbell's a winger? Took it down lovely. Squared it. Questions of offside, but Bacuna was there. And it was great to watch. And that is typical Huddersfield Town at home. We start really brightly. We come out, all guns blazing, lots of intention. And I think today I think the players in the first half, I think there was a complete lack of this in the second half. The players knew the magnitude of the game for 45 minutes. Now, that's not acceptable, but it's slightly positive in a way that the players do recognise it. Now, you can say, yeah, we went and bottled it, because we did. I'm not defending that at all. I thought we were absolutely disgraceful. But to have those flourishes of great play in the first half, it is encouraging. And I might be nitpicking here because there wasn't much to take out of that game, but that was definitely one of the most encouraging bits of play we probably had in the whole of 2021. and I know we're winless. Something has to change, but it was a really good bit of play, and I think it was the same with the second goal. Ben, I've probably spoken for too long about that, but I'll let you go on to the second.
No, you said everything that's needed to be said. The second goal was it was again trademark Huddersfield Town at this point. It's well worked, and Benza tucks it in on his weak foot into the opposite side, into the far post. It's a really good finish. It is a really good finish on his weak foot. The keeper should really do better. And I think if that goal is considered by us, I think we're fuming.
We're fuming anyway.
I mean, we are anyway, but it's a good goal. It's poor keeping, but that's 2-0. And in a season where we haven't really been 2-0 up at any point, we're thinking, you know what, this is going to be an easy 45 minutes. Just hold out against a team that have won twice all season. I mean, I was literally, I think in the 45 plus first minute, I think I was literally just tweeting the thing for half time, just giving a summary of the thing, and they go up and score. So, Jack, do you want to speak about that?
Yeah, 2-0. I was thinking, great, happy days. I get to film a nice podcast for once. But So I forgot his name. Number 33 for Wickham. Someone remind me.
Mehdi or something.
Well, he was a good player, that's for sure.
Yeah,
but anyway, he tucks away a nice little finish on his left just before half time, but it's too easy. Good goal, but too easy. Avoidable. Bakuna completely leaves him. Someone else completely leaves him. I'm sorry, we didn't do that. I haven't had a chance to watch it back, but Bakuna leaves him and someone else leaves him. And he just tucks it into the far corner. Schofield's got no chance because it's through bodies. And at that point, you had a horrible gut feeling that something was about to go wrong. I tried pushing it down, but the worst night, I think, like you said, our worst nightmares have come when that third goal went in. And it was at that point when at 2-1, it was our worst nightmare. And we go into half time after that goal, so someone can kick off on the second half.
I'll take it. Now, before we do kick off, and this is probably the first time you've seen any of us look so physically distraught, I think there is that mentality where we go 1-0, 2-0, even 3-0 up. I don't even know when the last time we scored 3 goals was. Probably sooner than I expected. What was it? I don't know.
Millwall, maybe?
Millwall, yeah. Do you think there's that? I'll take it to any of you before we do really go into depth in the second half. Do you think there's that fear where we go 2-0 up and we think, yeah, that's all right. We'll sit on our backside and chill out. The game's ours. Do you think there's that mentality there with the players?
I think there is. And I don't know what it is at all, which is the worrying part about it. I think I read something the other week that I think we've given away the most points from winning positions in the Championship. I'm not sure if that goes anywhere across any other leagues. That's not going to have been helped today at all. And I don't know what it is. I mean, I know last season, I think Fulham got a psychologist in to help them deal with it because, coming down from the Premier League and all that, I think they said the side was struggling mentally with stuff and to get results they were struggling with. And then they had a massive, massive, massive upturn in performances and results. And then obviously they got promoted. And I think something like that needs to happen here because genuinely, if it's not even a 1 or 2 occasion thing now, it's we'll go 1 goal up, and I don't think that we'll hold out a game. I want to say it's not enjoyable to watch because it just isn't at all. But I'd rather see us concede first because I have more hope that we'll come back into the game than actually seeing us score first, which is very, very stupid. But at the same time, to say that we've gone 2-0 up today and we've thrown away a 2-goal lead against a side that's won twice all season up until today and rarely scores, and to see the differences in the first and second half performances from both sides, Wickham looked timid to come at us in that first half. They score a goal in the 45th plus something minute. And then from that, I don't know what's been said, because we're used to seeing Carlos say something at half time and they'll come out and they'll perform brilliantly in the second half.
Yeah.
They'll come out flying. And I don't know what's happened today that he's not gone, look, you've just conceded right before half time, get your act together. I don't know what it is. I can't fathom what's happened to make us drop a 2-goal lead. It doesn't make sense. Go on. I mean, Jack, I've rambled there, but
no, yeah, I totally agree. I almost want to question whether they just accepted it and accepted that, right, we're winning for the first time in quite a while, and we're playing bottom of the league. I really do wonder if they just sort of. I just wonder if they just sort of thought they'd won halfway in. They just. Because, and no disrespect to Alta Wickham, I doubt there'll be any Wickham fans watching, but if there is, what you did work today, but it doesn't always work. And when we were 2-0, 2-1 up, you thought, well, we could probably get away with just sort of
Wickham maybe not playing, can't we?
Yeah, maybe not. 2-1 up, we maybe didn't have to attack as intensely, and could have just been calm on the ball, but they came out and looked fantastic. Like, all credit to them. And partially we made them look as good as they did, but they did look good, and they said it all about us. They a team who have the lowest scorers in the league, I believe. Obviously, bottom of the league by some distance.
I think I saw they're on now 16 points or something.
16.
33.
Yeah,
33 points.
33,
I'm not sure if that was before or after today's game, but
I don't
say they're
know,
on pretty much half of our points.
Yeah. So whatever was said at halftime didn't work, and whatever Gareth Ainsworth said to the Wickham boys at halftime really did work. And their mentality was just significantly better than ours, and their ability was significantly better than ours today. And the result was fully deserved by Wickham, and I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, it totally was, and I think it really, really speaks volumes when Naby Sarr had 2 goal line clearances first half. Ryan Schofield made way too many saves for our liking, and I don't think today was down to any kind of outline defensive error. I just think we were spineless as a unit. We were, and I do not use that word lightly at all. We were absolutely spineless. We were just farcical, and it is predictable, isn't it? Because even my brother, who wasn't even watching the game, he texted me saying, "Don't be surprised. They're gonna win this game." And that was when they just scored on the stroke of half time. And he's just texting me saying, "Told you so." And that sums up Huddersfield Town. You know it's coming, and how do you stop it? The answer is you don't stop it. And why is that? Is that because of Carlos's tactics? Is that because of the injuries in the team? Is that because we just start with the mental belief? And I think it is down to the mentality of the side. If we want to be a championship side, if we want to be pushing for playoffs, which we are, we look like we were at the start of the season, for it all to come crashing down like this, it's depressing. And it really is, because sat at home, having not been to a Huddersfield Town match since February 2020, where we rolled over Charlton. I know our last game was against Leeds. We lost, fine, away game. Not everyone went to that game. And I would have prayed to go to that game. I would have cut my right hand off to go to that game, even though we lost. It's such a stark contrast, and it might be the players who are just needing that extra boost, because I think there's only, like a number of times where you can rely on the boost of a manager. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, all football clubs haven't had fans in, more than nearly coming up to a year now. But I think Huddersfield Town, we are a supporters club. Huddersfield Town are, I think the team are fueled by the supporters, and I think without the supporters, we're just going right downhill, even at home. And I know the John Smith was a fortress before, the turn of his new year, but just going back to my initial point, I don't have any appropriate words, so to speak, to kind of sum up that second half, except it was vile to watch. I felt physically sick, and I don't think anyone can kind of say, "Oh, Jay, you need to chill out here," or Jay, you've been a bit too over the top, because we've watched it, and the three of us, paying £10 a week, and I'm sure it's the same for every other Huddersfield Town fan who watches home and away, and is kind of fortunate to be able to spend their hard-earned money on performances for it to turn out like that. It's a joke, and I think the quicker we sort it out, and I know Phil addressed the supporters, which was really bold of him, but the quicker we see that being transferred onto the pitch, the better the mindset the players will be, the mindset of our fans will be, because I think right now our fans are just split in half, and I feel like I've gone around in a circle.
Yeah,
I probably have, but I'll let someone else take it.
I mean, I think I went through my emails yesterday, and I think I saw that. I mean, it's not relevant to this, but I mean, it's relevant to what you mentioned about people paying £10 per game. I think I've spent as a season ticket holder, I think I've spent £70 now since we last won an away game, which is that there's no look like it's gonna. Like, I think I posted something on Twitter, like, it was when will the pain and suffering end meme, and it genuinely, like, it isn't a meme at this point. It's genuinely a case of, like, when will I pay £10 on a weekend that could quite easily go to something else? And we talk about this being like a family friendly club. I know Huddersfield Town have no issue with, like, the price of that, but, like, people will now start spending £10 on other things that they might need more than to watch a Town game. And I think more people are now. I don't even think it's just a corona. I think it could be something because of coronavirus or something that might not be. But, like, I'm seeing so many things on Twitter just saying that they're not interested in watching Huddersfield Town anymore, and I don't know where it stops with that, because, to be quite frank, we haven't won now in a month. We should have won today. I mean, I said 2 weeks ago now we need 6 points out of 6 from this game and last week, and we got one. We got 1 point out of 6. I'm not taking anything away from Wickham, and I said that then. I said, realistically, Wickham, like, no disrespect, but if we want to be promoted, if you want to get to the playoffs, Wickham is a game that any side should be winning if they want to be in the playoffs. And I mean no disrespect to Wickham, because today they outplayed us, and quite frankly, fair play. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing against Wickham. It's more a case of looking at us. I mean, I'm going to speak about both goals here, but for the second goal for Wickham, it's penalty. It's a stupid penalty. There shouldn't be a challenge made in the box when there's a player in front of him that is literally pushing him to the byline, and he's got no option pretty much, and he's probably going to run out of play. There's no reason to then try and put in a challenge. That's 2-2. We've conceded every penalty that we've had this season against us. A daft defensive mistake, and then another set piece, which Wickham are a side that rely on set pieces quite a lot, I think. And he's going to sound like I scapegoat Naby Sarr so much, but I think their winner is his fault. I mean, he's marking a man, he comes off him, goes into the middle, and the ball is played to the man that he was originally marking. That man heads it into the box further, and I couldn't tell you who scored. Knight who's on loan from Leicester scores, 87th minute. And it's just defensive mistakes, and it's every week now. There's a defensive mistake, and you look at it, and it's a question of what is actually happening. We performed well with youngsters in our defence. Like, I mean, Romani Edmonds-Green, Critchlow, and we've changed that to now have Richard Keogh and Naby Sarr, and nothing against the pair of them, but it's not working. It's not, and, like, I don't want to give players unnecessary stick, but, like, surely now, after how many negative results in a row, something needs to be given another chance. You know what I mean? We haven't beat Wickham. We just conceded 3 to Wickham. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. I can't fathom it. I wish I could. I really do wish I could. I said jokingly to Jay this morning, I said, we're going to get battered. And we've come away from that now. And in the second half, we have been well and truly battered by a team that sit bottom of the league by a certain amount of points.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's difficult to word it and keep it somewhat family friendly, because it genuinely was vile to watch this afternoon. After going 2-0 up, that should be 3 points. That's 3 points that should be in a, even at 2-1, that's a case of, right, lads, hold out for the next 45 minutes, go forward, counter attack, this, that, the other. And we just haven't done that. And it's just a question of what actually was positive today. Because, I mean, I think Bakuna played well and Benza played much better than last week. But I think, again, Peeper was a massive talking point and didn't have him again. Jack, would you agree with that? I mean, ever since we've given away his shirt, he's not performed too well. So
I really didn't want you to say that, but you did anyway. I'm just gonna have to also say, Bakuna and Benza did play well for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And no one, absolutely no one. Maybe Ryan Schofield saves in the second half, but that is it. And Pippa's been poor for a little while now, but who's the other option? I mean,
exactly.
D'Amico, Dehaney, Juninho, Bakuna. But as you were saying, just how vile that game was to watch. It is. I don't want to repeat you two, but it really wasn't good enough at all. And it's getting to the point where we've got Borough on Tuesday, 7:45 kickoff, and Neil Warnock's very famously resolute defensive teams who also can hurt you on they can attack. So they've got a bit of everything. I'm just not looking forward to it at all. I'm not looking forward to being miserable again on a night. And all I can say is at least I've got a week off work, so I'm not going to be exhausted already. So at least it's just for the field talent that can exhaust me this week. It's just, there's not really much else to say. We've talked about the goals. It's just really, really, it hurts a lot.
Yeah,
at the moment.
Definitely.
I think we're all hurting. I don't mean just us three. I mean the fan base in general.
As a fan base, I think as a fan base, we haven't. I don't want to be over the top because there's been worse periods of time, but I don't think there's ever been a point of time where, as a fan base, there is so much divide, and I don't think anybody's really there's no blame onto one person.
No, there's not.
Like, everybody's blaming everybody that they can put a blame onto, and to be honest, I don't want to say I can understand why, but it's a case of genuinely, I can't see where the blame goes, but I can blame so many people at the same time. You know what I mean? There's not one specific person each week. As a defensive line, we're poor poor defending. Going forward, first half we were brilliant. Second half we looked like we didn't have a shot on target. We had 4 shots, I think it was. We had 6 shots in the first half, 4 on target, and then we had 4 shots in the second half, 0 on target. We dominated the ball again. So in possession rankings, we're doing really well. Possession rankings, if the league was on possession, we'd be really good.
But the league on passes.
Exactly. We're trying to pass the ball forwards and back, forwards, that. Just passing the ball forward just sounds stupid to say. It doesn't make any sense at all. We're passing the ball backwards at 2-2, and it doesn't make any logical sense to pass the ball backwards and sideways at 2-2. I'm rambling again, but I can't fathom the result and the actual way that we played today.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I know, Jack, you mentioned Middlesbrough a few minutes ago, and I will put it this way. I am so glad that our game on Tuesday night is on Sky Sports, because I would, put it this way, if the club tweeted Monday night and said you can buy a match pass for £10, absolutely not. I am sorry, absolutely not. Not after these past few results. I don't think anyone can argue that. You can say, support your club through highs and lows, but there's there's a difference between supporting your club and knowing what's going to happen and still spending £10 on it. And I think I've been doing that all season. I haven't kind of not watching away. Yeah, I've not skipped an away game all season. And I think if Middlesbrough was on iFollow and not open to anyone to view on Sky, I don't think I would have taken it. And that I think that kind of describes our club at the moment. And there's been a lot of backlash. I think it's only fair to talk about the backlash after today's game. And I know we started filming this about 20-30 minutes after the game, but already just scrolling through Twitter, refreshing every single time, you've got Carlos is out of his depth. I think there's a few talking points here. There's Carlos out of his depth. There's Phil not backing Carlos. There's no plan B. I've seen that phrase a lot. And there's just that, obviously, same old thing, get a striker. And I know, hopefully, fingers crossed, we are close on a striker, so that kind of eliminates that one. But we'll go with the first one. I'll take it to anyone. Would you think, or would you say, Carlos Corberán is out of his depth until Tom?
In some ways, yes. Ben, you can go. Oh, right now, yeah, I'll go. I would say defensively, yes. The lack of plan B, which we can tie into this, yes.
Yeah.
His attacking and passing is very positive, and you can draw comparisons to Leeds at times. It hasn't been like that as much of late, but I think if you're saying that we have never played nice football this season and haven't created good chances pretty much every game, and we flew it, I think you're just being blinded by the recent results, which fair enough, it is depressing. But just logically speaking, we have played nice football, but defensively, it needs sorting, and I do wonder if is it possible to get more defensive coaches in to help out. I mean, I'm not sure, but he just ain't good enough, and I don't want to blame Carlos because I think he's a good manager, but defensively speaking, I think he is a bit out of his depth.
Yeah.
I mean, if I look at the next 4 games we've got Borough this Tuesday, then we've got Swansea, Derby, and then Preston North End. Swansea's the only one at home. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I don't see us picking up a point. I do not see us picking up a point, and I think that is going to be a February where we don't pick up any real results, which is so annoying to say because I think Carlos is the right manager. I don't know if it's the right time for Carlos at the moment, and to be honest, I can just see something happening, him just leaving. Because to be honest, I think he needs backing, but I'm not putting blame on Phil by saying this, but I think he needs backing, but I don't think he's been able to because of the entire situation with COVID.
Yeah.
With what he's got, I think he's doing brilliantly. And I think very much like the Cowleys were last season, I think he's doing a brilliant job with what he's got.
Yeah.
The few players that he's brought in, I think, have all been really good. So, Pieper's been good. Carol Lighting was good, and I think we're missing him an awful lot because that just kind of somebody that controls tempo we are missing so much right now. I think we're missing Schindler so much because we haven't got any leadership. We haven't got any leadership at the back. I don't think we're going to see Schindler in Huddersfield Town shirt again. But we just haven't got a leader at the back.
It's that personality, isn't it? It's that personality that we need. And I'm sorry for interrupting, but it is that personality, and I know. And I liken it to our promotion season where we had, Wagner, lovely man, but when he, similar to Carlos, when he, I can't speak today, I'm just too annoyed, but when he wanted the team to pull their finger out, he would tell them. It's the same with Carlos, and I think you had those, I'd say 3 or 4 massive presences when we went up. Michael Heffler, Christopher Schindler, Jonathan Hogg, Tommy Smith,
and Chris Leather.
Yeah.
I think as well. Danny Ward was brilliant with it as well.
Yeah, we have a lack of that.
We have Moy as well, who was quite silent, but at times when things needed to be said, I think he did speak up. I think we had Naki Bells as well, who actually cared about the club, and I don't want to compare Fred Campbell and Naki Bells because they're 2 completely different players with how they are on the pitch, but I think I think Naki just cared more. I think he fought for the ball more, and obviously he scored more, which
Yeah.
you can't really say about Fraser Campbell at the moment, given the fact that centre half is a goal behind him, and then and Benza as well as a goal behind him now, who's missed games and plays out primarily on the wing, which it's frustrating because I think given time, Carlos could come really good for us.
Yeah.
If you compare it to Leeds, I know there's so many differences compared to us and Leeds, but Leeds didn't go up in a season. It took them 2 seasons. I don't think we're anywhere near the same standard of size that Leeds are, both like on the pitch and like the actual. If you look at it on paper, when Bielsa took over the team, I don't think they were the same kind of like standard. I think there were players there, but I just don't think they were being coached properly. I think we've got players at Huddersfield Town, Josh Corona, Carolite if he comes back. There's a good like little pool of players that we've got, but I just don't think that we're at the same standard of quality. And I think given another season or so, we could be all right. We could we could potentially challenge playoffs. But I think this next 4 months is so vital. I mean, we've got I don't know how many games we've played now. How many games we played? I couldn't tell you.
But we're in February. There's a couple of months left.
We're in February. There's 3 months of games left.
Yeah.
I think it is massively, massively important that we stay up, because I think if we go down, I think we can pretty much say that not just on the pitch but off the pitch. I think Huddersfield Town could become a very, very, very different club. I think we will lose a lot of players. And I think there's a very real chance of happening. Obviously, I don't want to be too negative, because we've got to try and stay optimistic. I think there's a very real chance of it at this point in time. Would you both agree with me on that?
Yeah, for sure. If you'd have asked me on let's say New Year's Eve, if you'd asked me just before 2021 started, I would say absolutely no chance. But now if you looked at how we played when we had everyone available, it was fantastic. And if anything, you'd have seen us going the other way and going up. But it's just really concerning that we're not getting results, and most of the time, not every game, but most of the time, we're not even looking like getting results. So today, after half time, we didn't look like getting a result. Stoke, for all the chances we had, you just knew none of them were going to go in. Like, you just had that feeling just because of who we have available. Luton, we scraped a point. Probably didn't deserve a point, but we take the point.
We didn't.
We take the point. So yeah, and we've got Borough next, Swansea soon, Derby, which is out of those 4 or 5 you said, Derby's probably the most winnable game of the lot, and it's still not that winnable because they're a lot better with Rooney in charge. I said last week without Bielik it's different, and I was a bit obsessed with Bielik's injury. I'm sorry, but no.
And then we got Preston at Deepdale.
Preston at Deepdale, which is I don't think I
the
need
yearly
to say what
battering.
happened. Preston at Deepdale. So yeah, I don't really see where our next point, or God forbid 3 points, are coming from. So yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know if I can say if I think we'll stay up or not. I think I'm 50-50 on it. I think Birmingham are in a lot worse trouble than us. I think Wickham are as good as they were today. I think Wickham are pretty much nailed on to go down at this point. So I think it's between us and 2 or 3 other clubs, Rotherham, Derby, who fill in that last spot. So we shall see. But I'll back Carlos till the final day, and all I hope is that they do the job, and touch wood, we can build on for next season, because basically that's what we've got to hope now, just that we stay up. That's the only hope. We can't really say I want mid-table now, because it's not happening. We just need to finish. Even if we finish where we are now, that's fine. Like, it's not really progression, but it sort of is, because we did look a lot better with our injuries, without our injuries, I should say. So yeah.
I mean, just very quickly before you speak, Jay, I would say the lineup currently. So those we've got QPR 17th with 27 games. They've got 2 games in hand on us on 33. We've got us on 33 as well. Then we've got Derby on 31 with a game in hand. Coventry on 31 with 29. Rotherham with 29 with 2 games in hand. Sheffield Wednesday with a game in hand on 28. Then we've got Birmingham on 28 as well, who have played 29. And we've got Wickham on 19 now after 28 games. So
right. So you're backing up what I'm saying there. It's not just us, is the thing.
I don't think it's just us in the trouble.
People have got games in hand, but we're being positive for once today, but it isn't just us. So we're not set in stone to go down, and I would say out of those clubs, I could see 2 or 3 dropping into it before we do. Instead of us. So I'm not sure, but it's a real possibility, and it's not something we can shy away from and hide from. I totally respect people who are saying that we are 100% going down because they have their opinions, and can't change that, unfortunately. But we shall see. Just to the last day, I think it might go down till the last few games, maybe even the last day. But it'll be an interesting one, and I for one am dreading it. So.
Yeah. Same. And I think today was an interesting episode because I think we filmed it after the game.
For the first time?
A lot of them for the first time, yeah. A lot of emotion, and obviously we haven't watched this back, but if there was any points where we just went round in circles, we apologise for that. But I think that also shows how much we care about this football club, and I just think to any Huddersfield Town fan watching this, I think we're all in the same boat, and to have division off the pitch at this time where we're not doing so well on the pitch is just it's not positive, and people have their own opinions, and it's not needed. I think at the end of the day, we all want the club to go in the same direction, and I think the sooner we get back into that stadium and cheer the team on as a unit, I think all of what's being tweeted, directed at different Huddersfield Town fans will be forgotten, because we are one club, we support one unit, and we all want the club to go into, in one direction. So I think, yes, everyone's going through their own situation, and I think football is supposed to be a form of escapism. Obviously, it's not at the moment, but I think to anyone listening to this, it's not easy. I think we all just need to keep going, keep supporting the club, and I just hope and pray, like you all probably do, along with me, that we just do well and pick up some form. So I think that's it for this episode. And in true Terriers talk fashion, I will leave it to either Ben or Jack to wrap it up.
Yeah, I pretty much summed it up perfectly. It's obviously it's a lot different to the ones that we normally film. We normally film tomorrow. After watching the highlights, we'll have notes. So like if you've seen us kind of looking down or like looking away from the screen, that's why we've been checking phones to kind of just see if there's like any kind of highlights or anything to just kind of back up points. But I think what's vital to remember is what 17 games left. I've just checked. We've got 20. We've as a club we played 29. We are 6 points away from Middlesbrough, who are in. Are we 6 points? 7 points away, who are in 8th, and we're in 18th, which just shows how close this league is really. So I think over the next 17 games, there has to be improvement. And we'll review each of the weeks that happen as they come. But I think it was vital that we recorded this one like this to just kind of give kind of like the thoughts straight after, rather than leaving it, because Twitter is a very kind of diverse place currently in regards to the Huddersfield Town fan base. And I think rather than us kind of spending a day looking at Twitter and potentially just changing our opinion on it potentially, I think it was important to just kind of record this one now and say it as it is, how we see it, as a set of younger fans that might not have seen, the worst periods in like the early kind of 2000s. I think this as like current fans, I think this is one of the worst periods that we have seen as kind of younger fans. So we want to kind of say it as it is from our perspective. So that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you for watching. Obviously, this is going to come out a bit earlier than the normal one. Normal one comes out on Tuesday. This is probably going to come out tomorrow, so Sunday. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, share it around, and let us know what you think about the season, and if if you think that relegation is a real possibility and what needs to be done, what are the steps to get us away from that. So thank you for watching, and like and share, and that's all from us.
See you next time, guys.